Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Missouri Students, sponsored by the Missouri Association for College Admissions Counseling, or MOACAC, and StriveScan. So once again, thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping items before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to Allie, who will be presenting at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists that are presenting will not be able to hear you, and you will not be able to turn either your camera or your microphone on. So just wanted to let you know that. In addition to that, we encourage you to participate in some of our other panel presentations and presentations. You can find those at moacac.org. You can also check out the recordings to other presentations that may have happened in the past, or schedule those and plan on looking at some of the upcoming presentations if you're not able to make it on that date. Those presentation recordings will be posted about 1 week, give or take, after the presentations take place. So definitely check those out, definitely sign up. Otherwise, I'd like to now turn it over to our presenters, Allie from the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, to tell you about their school.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who's tuning in tonight. It's great to see you kind of virtually. And I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about what we have to offer at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. So I'm going to start with an intro of myself. I'm going to share the screen here so you can see my presentation. And then we will get into the ins and outs of the University of Minnesota. And I just want to let you know along the way, I can definitely answer any questions that you have. So feel free to type them in the Q&A box at any time. And I can answer questions along the way. And then we'll leave some time at the very end for some live Q&A as well to make sure that you're getting all of your questions answered. So without further ado, let's get to it. My name is Allie, like I said. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. And I am a freshman admissions counselor at the University of Minnesota. I specifically work with students coming to us from Kansas and Missouri. So typically during a normal year, I would be in and out of St. Louis, Kansas City, and Columbia, Missouri, getting to see all of you in your high schools. But this year, of course, we're able to do that virtually, which is awesome. And I am a recent grad of the University of Minnesota. So I graduated with my degree in Spanish and psychology in 2018. So I'm about 2 years out, and obviously loved my experience so much that I'm still working on campus. And I'm not only passionate about the university itself and all that it has to offer, but also just this college search process. I know that this year is more complex and complicated and overwhelming than ever, but the college search process is also really fun and exciting. So just know that myself and any other admissions counselor you interact with throughout your time looking at different colleges and, you know, weighing your different options, we're really just here to help you, and that's what we're really passionate about. So with that being said, I want to tell you a bit about Minnesota specifically. So what you're seeing here on this welcome slide is a picture of our campus. I just want to point out a few things here. Number one, on the left-hand side of this picture, you can see some skyscrapers. So this picture is really great and kind of showing you where our campus is situated in the Twin Cities, which are Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're the two largest cities in the state of Minnesota, right by the Wisconsin border. And we are about a 7 to 10 minute light rail train ride from downtown Minneapolis that you can see on the left-hand side of the picture. And on the right-hand side, you can see the light rail train that will take you there. This was built in 2014, and it happens to connect downtown Minneapolis to downtown St. Paul. So you can zip to downtown Minneapolis in, like I said, under 10 minutes and get to downtown St. Paul in about 25 to 30 minutes. So our campus, while you see here, is very self-contained. It's a traditional collegiate Big Ten college atmosphere, is very interwoven with the Twin Cities location and experience, which I'll highlight at different points throughout this presentation as well. So here's another view of campus too. Looks like it was taken in the fall. So if you want to know what campus looks like during this time of year, you can really see that come out, some pretty fall colors in this picture. But also notice that the Mississippi River runs straight through our campus. So we have this bridge that goes across, and our campus is actually split up into East Bank and West Bank parts of campus. bisected by the Mississippi River. And then we also have a smaller campus in St. Paul. So normally students will have class on all three parts of campus at some point, but don't worry about the St. Paul piece because we actually have our own university shuttle that will take you there and a private road with no other traffic on it that will take you to the St. Paul campus from Minneapolis in about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's just kind of situating what you can expect for the university geographically. And I will say other aspects to pay attention to in terms of location. If you are from the St. Louis area, it's about an 8-hour drive. Kansas City area, about a 6.5 hour drive. And I typically, when I'm traveling to Kansas and Missouri, I usually fly, and we happen to be connected directly to the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. So you can take the train directly to the airport, get to your hometown within about an hour, hour and a half flight. So really conveniently located. But just talking about what we're looking for in terms of our students. We have this tagline up here called "Come Curious." This is really like what we live by as a university. We are looking for students who are excited to take advantage of all the opportunities that we have, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and really, challenge themselves and put themselves outside of their comfort zone. I will say some of my key moments of learning as a student were outside of the classroom through the many opportunities in the Twin Cities that I took advantage of. So we'll talk about some of those advantages as we get to it. However, I'm guessing that academics are one of the primary considerations for you in your college search process, because obviously you want to go to a school that has the programs you're interested in. So I will say we are a very large university. We're in the Big Ten. We're probably in the middle in terms of population size of schools in the Big Ten. We have about 32,000 undergraduate students, about 52,000 students overall when you count graduate and professional students as well. So we're quite large, and our amount of programs really is reflected in that as well. So we do have 150 majors to choose from and about 135 minors across the board. So fun fact about me, I actually came into the university as a freshman in the business school. Thought I wanted to be a nonprofit manager, basically. I wanted to work in finance and take my skills into the nonprofit sector. Turns out finance was not it, and business was not it for me. And I was really well supported by my advisor and really taking a look at what my strengths were and what my interests actually were. And I ended up switching from business to a Spanish major during the beginning of my junior year. So this is really a place where if you are at all undecided, or if you have multiple interests that you'd like to pursue simultaneously, you can definitely do that because we have that scope. We have that breadth of educational opportunities. And then we also have, beyond that 4-year undergraduate experience, we have many graduate and professional programs. So we are the land grant flagship university of the state of Minnesota, which means we have the largest law school, medical school, veterinary school, pharmacy, dentistry, and then overall about 200 graduate programs, ranging from, a master's in art history to a PhD in psychology. So lots of different options to continue your education beyond college as well. And I will also point out that we are a Research One university. This can be said for the other universities in the Big Ten and many large public universities around the United States. But this just means that we are top tier in terms of our research. So in basically any topic you can think of, we are doing significant research across the board. And recently, I think we've been named 8th in the nation for the amount of funding we actually have to put forth into research projects. So we're a university that's not only committed to, teaching you new knowledge, which is what you'd expect from college, but also involving you in the creation of new knowledge and the history of innovation that we have as a university, not only having an impact on the Twin Cities, the state of Minnesota, but also, the country and the world at large with some of the things that we've come up with on campus. A couple of really cool examples I always like to share are the Honeycrisp apple, which is my favorite. It's absolutely delicious. If you've never tried one, go get one at your supermarket. They're in season right now. We also invented the pacemaker, the first retractable seatbelt, and performed the first open heart surgery on our campus. So lots of opportunities to get involved in those things, even as an undergrad. So we have something called the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, UROP for short, and this enables students as soon as their freshman year to get involved with research. And personally, I was involved with 3 different research opportunities during my time in college, 2 of which were my own independent research, which is pretty cool. And then just talking about, what your classroom experience will be like, you might expect from a large university that you'll have pretty large class sizes, but 80% of the time, our classes will have fewer than 50 students in them. And I will say, just speaking from personal experience, during your first, year or 2 on campus, you're going to be taking some classes that have, large lecture halls where you're sitting in a room with, a couple hundred students. But during those lectures, at some point in the week, you will also have a discussion or a lab section, which usually has around 20 to 30 students. So you have that time to get your questions answered, to do group projects, to get to know your classmates and have that engaging learning experience. And as you go up within your major, your classes get smaller and smaller and smaller. In my Spanish major, my smallest class had 5 students in it. So we were literally just sitting around a conference table and talking about Spanish literature. So you definitely have that range of classroom experiences too. And then we are also really cognizant of the fact that we are a large campus. And for me personally, I am from a small town in Wisconsin originally. So I was a little intimidated by the size. I didn't want to get lost in the crowd. No one ever wants to feel like just a number on campus, obviously. So the university is very intentional in creating smaller communities academically from day one. When you walk onto campus as a student, you are not just a Golden Gopher, you are part of one of these 8 freshman admitting colleges. So keep this in mind. If you haven't filled out your application yet, it's open. You are actually applying to one of these specific colleges instead of the university at large. I'm going to go through each of these briefly just to give you a taste of what they have to offer in terms of programs. So first up, we have the College of Biological Sciences. As you might guess, lots of biology in this college. There are 8 different tracks to pursue different majors within biology, such as plant science, general biology, cellular and organismal physiology, genetics and cell biology. So lots of really specific tracks within biology. And typically students are in this college are interested in research, but we also see many students who are, interested in healthcare or the medical fields pursuing that biology major. I will note, however, if anyone in the room is interested in medical school or a medical related career in the future, you definitely don't have to be a biology major. And we actually don't have a specific biology or a specific pre-med major on campus. So you could literally be a French major, but still, take the classes that will make you a competitive applicant in the med school admissions process and, be on your way and into that trajectory. We do have a resource on campus called the Pre-Health Student Resource Center, and this serves students who are interested in healthcare careers, regardless of what their major is. So like I said, if you're a French major, you could go to the Pre-Health Student Resource Center and get one-on-one career coaching, workshops in studying for the MCAT, getting, clinical hours, all that stuff that you need to prepare for the next step in your career. And then we have the College of Liberal Arts. This is where I graduated from, so I absolutely loved it. It is our largest college within the University of Minnesota, and it houses about 70 of our 150 majors. So if you're at all undecided, this is a really great place to land and, figure it out. Take some different classes and see what you like. There are programs ranging from 26 different foreign language programs to some STEM programs. We actually have computer science, physics, chemistry, and a biology major within the College of Liberal Arts. And then we also have a wide range of humanities and social sciences. In fact, our most popular major on campus is psychology. We're really well known for psychology research. If you ever have heard of the Minnesota Twin Study, that's obviously us in Minnesota. And we actually developed counseling psychology on our campus. So really strong tradition there. And then the College of Science and Engineering. This college has both the hard sciences and 12 engineering majors. So we do have a computer science, a new data science major, physics, math, chemistry, as well as an array of engineering majors such as aerospace, biomedical, mechanical, electrical, computer engineering, which is really focused on building computers. So lots of different options. But the really great thing about all of these colleges, and especially the College of Science and Engineering, is you don't need to pick your specific major until the end of your sophomore year. That's actually when you need to declare your major in college at the university. So you have that first year on campus to, again, do some exploring within engineering specifically, if that's what you're interested in. And they actually do a really great job in their first year experience and bringing industry professionals as well as researchers in all areas of engineering to get you really exposed to all of your different options, career-wise and academics-wise, before making that choice about your major. And then we have the College of Education and Human Development. This is where you'll find yourself if you like working with people. So as you might guess, we do have some education majors within this college. We have anything ranging from early childhood education all the way to elementary, to secondary, as well as special education. And then we also have that human development piece within this college, which actually encompasses a pretty broad array of majors. We have a human resources major. We have some more business-oriented majors, such as sport management. So if you are interested in the business of sports, this is a really great place for you. And then we also have kinesiology, how the human body moves in the world. So lots of different options within this college. And just like the College of Science and Engineering, they have a really robust first year experience that all students will go through to really facilitate that building of community and making sure that not only you're having a successful transition into college itself, but you're also feeling comfortable in your specific college that you were admitted to, and you're making connections and meeting faculty members. So every one of our colleges has a program exactly like that. And then we have the College of Design. This is actually the only college that admits directly to a major. So if you were in this college, you do need to know upfront exactly what you would like to pursue. Some examples are architecture, retail merchandising, graphic design, apparel design, product design. And one of the coolest classes within this college is within the product design major. It's actually a toy design class where you design and build a toy. And instead of having your professor, come in at the end of the semester to grade your assignment, they actually bring in elementary school aged kids to play with the toys and see how, engaging and fun they are. So that's direct access to a target market and, lots of really hands-on learning experiences. Then we have the Carlson School of Management. This is our traditional business school. So you'll find we have 10 majors within this school that focus on different areas of business to specialize in. So you've got finance, marketing, supply chain, international business, as well as nonprofit management. So many different specialty areas to choose from. And what makes this college really unique is every single student will go abroad at some point. We'll talk about learning abroad experiences later on tonight, but Carlson is really focused on giving students that global business perspective before going into the career field. And that really makes a difference in terms of, their success after graduation and how confident they feel navigating cross-cultural communication and things that are just really important in the business world. Then we have the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences, my favorite one to say. We shorten it up by saying CFANS. This is actually located in our St. Paul campus, and you'll find lots of majors that are really focused on, saving the world, basically. You've got food systems, agricultural studies, environmental science, animal science, really important things in how our world functions and how we feed our society. So lots of great majors here. And if you're interested in vet school, this is really where you'd find yourself. We have a specific pre-vet track within our animal science program. And then last but not least, our School of Nursing. It only has one major in it, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And this fun fact is our newest freshman admitting college. So the School of Nursing has been around for about 110 years, but it has just become its own freshman admitting college, which really streamlines the process for you getting into the nursing program as a freshman and starting on that nursing coursework and getting to know your cohort of peers right away as well. And then outside of the classroom, I will say no one wants to spend their entire college career sitting in the library, sitting in a classroom, because there's so much to learn and enjoy outside of the classroom as well. So for me, some of the first things I took advantage of on campus were joining student groups, especially coming from out of state. It's an excellent way to meet people and, you know, get to know the vast array of cultures and ideas and perspectives that are on our campus. So we currently have about 980 student groups across the board. And if you see this picture on the top right-hand corner here, this is of Paint the Bridge Day. So that's a really cool tradition we have where we actually have a bridge covering on the bridge that crosses the east and west bank portions of campus right across the Mississippi River. It gets a little chilly in the winter in Minnesota. I know we have a question about what's the weather like year round, and I can definitely talk about that more, but it does get chilly in the winter. So it really helps to block the wind when you're walking to class across the bridge. But every October, we open up every one of those panels you see to all the different student groups, and they have an opportunity to paint their own advertisement, their own sign to represent their group. So if you're ever bored on campus, just take a walk across that Washington Avenue Bridge and you'll see all the different things we have going on, which is incredible. One really great program we have specifically for out-of-state students is At Home in Minnesota. This is geared towards, helping you adjust to life in the Northwoods, the land of 10,000 lakes, and really feel comfortable residing in a new state where you decided to go to college. So I actually took advantage of this as a freshman, specifically for first-year students, and I got a free ticket to the Minnesota State Fair, which is actually adjacent to our campus. So it's very, very popular for students to go to the state fair. We actually have the second largest state fair behind the state of Texas. So it's a huge deal to Minnesotans. You go to the state fair, they go apple picking, they go ice skating, they go to a hockey game. So you're doing all these things that are really central to Minnesotan culture and getting comfortable, learning about all the fun things that there are to do in your new state. And then besides that, At Home in Minnesota is actually a living learning community as well. And we have over 35 living learning communities overall. So these are portions of a residence hall, such as a specific wing or even a full floor, committed to bringing together students around a common background, interest, or identity. So we do have one specifically for out-of-state students. We have an LLC for every one of those 8 freshman admitting colleges. We have other identity-based ones, such as the Huntley House for African American men, or the Lavender House for LGBTQIA members of that community. So lots of different options to get to know people who share common interests and backgrounds. I would also like to know, just in terms of housing, a couple of things to know. Number one, you're never required to live on campus, but about 90% of our incoming freshmen will choose to live on campus year to year. We have 9 different residence halls to choose from. And our housing application actually opens in the beginning of November. So you do not have to be a confirmed student to fill out that housing application. Really, the only thing you're risking by submitting that housing application is the $55 non-refundable fee to submit it. And we do make our housing placements based on the date that you submit your housing application. So if you're like really, set on living in a specific residence hall on campus, it might be of benefit to get that in a little bit earlier rather than later. And I usually say if the U of M is within the top 2 or 3 colleges that you're looking at, then it makes it more worth it. But there are many students who will wait until the spring when they really have a feel for where they're deciding to go to school to submit that housing application as well. And our policy is if you submit it by May 1st, which is the deadline, you're guaranteed a place to live on campus. And then another really awesome aspect of life at the University of Minnesota is just the fact that we are part of the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is an academic conference that encompasses 14 very large universities throughout the Midwest and into the East as well. Lots of rivalries, lots of sports, lots of school spirit. So I absolutely loved that as a student. We have, a really strong football team over the past couple years. Volleyball, women's hockey are really fun to watch as well. But we do have 23 D1 sports across the board. And the only ones that you actually need to pay to get into to watch are men's football, basketball, and hockey. So if you're like really into soccer and you want to go watch every single soccer game, women's soccer game that we have, you can do that just by swiping your University of Minnesota ID card. So whatever it is that you're excited about, you will have an opportunity to have that pride and spirit and that community on campus as well. And then off campus, talking about, opportunities to really expand your horizons, we have the third largest learning abroad center in the United States. So we have about 250 programs in over 70 countries to choose from, and these programs vary widely. First, they vary in terms of time. So a big question that I had and many students have coming into college is like, will I be able to spend an entire semester abroad? Like I need to plan my classes around that and really move some things around. I will say that is one way to do it, but there are many ways to study abroad. We have many programs that will go over spring break, over winter break, or over May term, which is the 3 weeks after finals are over in May, over the summer, and we even have full year-long programs as well. So it's really flexible in terms of what you can make work in your overall, 4-year graduation plan. And then once you've decided on how long you want to spend abroad, you definitely don't have to just do that traditional semester exchange in a different country as well. I really encourage you to check out, research, volunteering, or even internship opportunities when you're abroad too. And I actually spent a semester in Ecuador, and my program was a hybrid of academics and an internship. So for the first half of the program, everyone had some pretty intense academic coursework in Quito, the capital of Ecuador. And then for the second half, everyone was able to choose an internship somewhere in the country at a nonprofit, a hospital, or a government organization, or apply to do their own research. So I actually did my own research through the URAP program that I mentioned, and I studied the impact of the rose industry on women's empowerment in rural Ecuador. So I pushed myself, beyond what I thought was possible in terms of, navigating different cultures and meeting new people and really advocating for myself in that independent research. So I'd highly recommend that to anyone who's, at least vaguely considering going abroad. Do it during college because you definitely will not regret it. And then another opportunity you can take advantage of from day one on campus is the University Honors Program. And you're actually automatically considered for honors just by applying. So there is no separate application for the honors program for incoming freshmen. But if you are not admitted as a freshman into honors, you can submit a specific application during your freshman year to start an honors your sophomore year, or during your sophomore year to start an honors your junior year. So the requirements to graduate with honors are pretty flexible. And the intention with this program is really to bring students together across different areas of study. You want that interdisciplinary academic experience. You want to talk to people who, maybe are trained to think about things differently than you. I know for me, one of my first classes in the honors program, I was a business student at this point, was a combined project with engineering students. So you had business minds and engineering minds coming together. And I will say, we're taught to think differently and sometimes have way different perspectives on things. So it's really great to be able to have that engagement in the classroom. And then also part of the honors program is meeting out of classroom experiences. So we do have smaller class sizes in the honors program, which is really great academically, but then you are encouraged to really become a leader on campus and in your community throughout your experience in honors as well. And here we have a testimony from Trisha. She says she's surrounded by confident and driven students and faculty. This really is a motivating environment to be a part of. And it continues all the way through your experience. And yes, I have a question about the honors program. Is it like NHS in high school? Kind of, but also different. You can compare it kind of to like an NHS program. There are, some of those requirements that you will need to check off your list, but it's really, I would say, more of an immersive experience than that, because you are actually paired with your own honors advisor during your freshman year, and they stay with you through senior year of college as well. So you have this mentor to guide you through, planning your courses, just really challenging you to, push yourself outside of the classroom too. So it's really, an individualized support system that's built into the honors program too. And they have a lot of fun activities like a mentor program. They have their own student government, and then also an honors multicultural network, which is new within honors. So it's really engaging, and you can dive into it, as far as you would like. There is also an LLC committed to the honors program that is located in Middlebrook Hall, and students in their first and second year are able to live, surrounded by other honors students in Middlebrook Hall as well. Great question. So then talking about, just the Twin Cities, like I mentioned, I absolutely love the Twin Cities, call it home now. And it was a big factor in my decision to attend the University of Minnesota, to be honest. I wanted that, urban experience, but the Twin Cities also is really unique in how outdoorsy it is. It has a really great culture around stellar parks and bike pathways and places to go running, and lots of lakes to visit. We actually have a chain of 5 lakes in the city. So, some of the fun things I remember during college and after is meeting my friends for a day on the beach in one of the lakes, and, going paddleboarding or whatever around the lake. So that's really part of, the experience on campus. And to answer the weather question too, that was brought up at the beginning, I will say, yes, we do have a snowy and cold winter, and we have a strong culture around winter activities too. So I grew up in the upper Midwest, so I'm a little biased. Like, winter is my favorite season because I've been skiing since, I was 3 years old. But, if you're new to that and you want to, start cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, snowshoeing, going ice skating, doing any of the outdoor winter activities, you're definitely not going to be alone. And we actually have some downhill ski resorts within, 30 minutes of campus. And one of our PE classes is actually skiing and snowboarding. So you can take a bus to one of the ski places and learn how to ski or snowboard and have it count as a class on campus. So we really lean into it, and I absolutely think it's one of my favorite parts about living in the upper Midwest is the winter. And also, your first year on campus, just get a parka, get a nice warm hat and gloves and some sturdy boots. You will be good to go. And then while you're walking from class to class as well, we have something called the Gopher Way. So, we're Gophers, we dig tunnels, and it is basically an interconnected network of basements of all of our different academic buildings connected by tunnel. So you can get from end to end on campus without going outside, especially when it's raining or it's really cold. So that's really nice weather-wise. And then just talking about, things to take advantage of in terms of your career in the Twin Cities, we definitely have a thriving economy in many sectors. So that's really what drew me to, because I knew it was a place that I could see myself living and starting my, first years of my career, definitely. So if you're interested in business, we do have 16 Fortune 500 companies headquartered in the Twin Cities area. So you've got, Target, Best Buy, General Mills, United Health Group, Medtronic, big companies who want to hire our graduates because we're the largest school in the state of Minnesota. So lots of connections there. But if you're interested in the public sector, our Minnesota state capitol is in St. Paul, actually right off the light rail train. So super convenient if you want to, intern for a senator or something like that. And then a thriving healthcare industry and nonprofit sector as well. So we're really great in connecting you to these opportunities very early on, I will say. Each of the 8 freshman and bank colleges that I talked about has a dedicated career center where you can go for one-on-one career advising, talking about what your plan is throughout your 4 years, so like internships and your job search. You can get your resume looked at, help writing a cover letter. And they have workshops actually to prepare you for the different career fairs that the colleges put on throughout the year. And then we do have a large University of Minnesota-wide career fair too, brings in over 250 companies and organizations, so very large. And then in terms of just having fun too, the Twin Cities really has it all, but on a smaller scale than, like your New York or Chicago, which I really enjoy. So you've got lots of theater, great concert venues that are actually accessible on the light rail train too. During college, some of my favorite concerts where I saw Taylor Swift and Beyonce within a mile and a half of campus, which is pretty cool. And then we do have 6 professional sports teams. And like I said, direct access to our MSP airport, as well as the Mall of America. If any of you have visited Mall of America, not too far from campus either. And then talking about value, I know finances are an important part of your college decision as well. I will say I experienced a very high quality, high value education at the university. And part of that was the fact that it was valuable in the ways that meant the most to me. So a really awesome policy that helps, enforce that is our 13 credit flat rate tuition policy. This just means that after your 13th credit, which actually makes you a full-time student during any given semester, anything after that is free. So I typically took around 15 to 17 credits a semester, but like for you, if you want to spend more time abroad, double major, graduate early, or pick up a minor and explore some new things, you have the ability to do that and the flexibility that isn't costing you more over the course of your college experience. And then looking at tuition and fees, this is our out-of-state tuition and fees, as well as room and board. So at out-of-state tuition, we're at around $32,000 overall. And I will say we have frozen our tuition from 2019. So this is the 2020 rate as well. And then talking about how to make it happen. If you're interested in becoming a Golden Gopher, what do you need to do? I will say we try to make things as easy and seamless as possible, because we know seniors in high school, y'all are busy. Like, you have a lot on your plates. So we want to make it as straightforward as we can. A complete application has 3 components to it. So we have our application form itself, which you can find on our admissions website, as well as the Common App. We have a self-reported academic record that you'll fill out online in place of sending us your official transcript from your high school. And then we do have a $55 application fee. Missing from this list are a few things. We have no required letter of recommendation, no required essay, also optional. And then we have a policy of no test score required for fall 2021 applicants. So it's completely up to you whether you would like to submit that test score or those other materials in your application. And we do have a holistic review process, meaning we're just going to look at everything that you give us top to bottom. Typically around 2 to 5 different people will look at an application before a final decision is made on it. So we are really, taking the time to get to know you as not only a student, but also a human being who is going to be a part of our campus. And our one application puts you into consideration for 3 different things. So that admission to a specific college, like I mentioned, as well as the honors program, and then also academic competitive scholarships, which I'll talk about on the next slide. We have 3 different deadlines this year. Normally we would have 2, but we did add a December 1st deadline as well to give students who are perhaps taking the ACT or SAT this fall and wanting to, see that score before making the decision regarding whether they'd like to submit it to us. We're definitely going to be as flexible as we can with students. So we have a November 1st, December 1st, and January 1st deadline, but the only difference between these deadlines is when you're guaranteed to hear a decision from us. So if you apply by November, you will hear back by the end of January. If you apply by December, you'll hear back by February 15th. And if you apply by January, you will hear back by March 31st. And we do have equal consideration for admission, honors, and scholarships for all 3 of those deadlines. And our no test required policy also extends to consideration for honors and competitive scholarships. We really want to be as accessible as possible. And then talking a little bit more about scholarships. We review students for scholarships using the same holistic review process that we do for admissions. So it's an automatic review based on the contents of your admissions application. And we have an array of scholarships across the board at the university-wide level, and then also within each of those 8 freshmen admitting colleges. So a really big one to keep in mind as an out-of-state student is the national scholarship. This ranges from $2,500 a year to $15,000 a year for 4 years. Most of our scholarships are 4-year scholarships, and they can stack on top of each other as well. Like I said, equal consideration for scholarships on all of our deadlines. And our scholarship review process is on a little bit of a longer timeline. So regardless of which admissions deadline you meet, you will hear back about any scholarships you've received by the end of March. So March 31st, 2021, if you're currently a senior. And then just a note about financial aid, that all comes through our One-Stop Student Services office. So they handle everything related to your FAFSA, need-based financial aid, scholarships, grants, or loans. So they are really a great resource separate from the Office of Admissions to ask any questions along the way as you are making financial decisions. So really, just to kind of wrap it all up, we definitely have so many opportunities inside the classroom, you know, on campus, abroad, and then taking advantage of that Twin Cities location really wraps up into a stellar value education. And I will say I have never regretted my decision to attend the University of Minnesota for a second, because I had the opportunity to learn not only in, but outside of the classroom. And I also felt at home. Minnesota nice is the thing that people will say. It's kind of a stereotype that we're very polite and welcoming people. I found it definitely to be true. And I always felt not only like I was welcomed on campus, but that I, you know, mattered as a student and I was really a part of the student body. So I would absolutely love to answer any questions that you all have for the next few minutes. And then also I'd love to hear from you after this session as well. I can be reached via email or phone, give me a call, send me a text, and I would love to have a conversation about, you know, what's important to you in your college search and whether the University of Minnesota would be a good fit. So I'll open it up to any questions and I'll stop sharing my screen here just for the last few minutes. Perfect. So any questions as we wrap up for the last few minutes? All right, one question about holistic review. So I'll quickly explain. Holistic review really means for us academic factors as well as context factors. So when we're looking at your application, we break it up into academics, which are encompassed by your GPA, your class rank, if your high school does class rank, as well as the coursework that you've taken throughout high school to prepare you for your specific area that you're interested in studying. So if you're, like, let's say, interested in the College of Science and Engineering, we're going to look most closely at your math and science courses throughout 4 years of high school. And then also test score is one of those many factors if you do choose to submit a test score to us. And then context factors are basically everything outside of the classroom. So our decision never exists in a vacuum. We always want to know what has been going on outside of the classroom for you, be it, you know, any extracurricular activities or jobs or sports or leadership opportunities that you've taken advantage of, or any extenuating circumstances that might have had an impact on your grades throughout high school. We definitely want to know all of that and take that into consideration when making our decision as well. Awesome. So open it up for any last questions, and then we'll wrap it up here tonight. Awesome. So just quickly, a question about switching colleges. Like I mentioned, you enter the university in one of those 8 freshman admitting colleges, but you're by no means locked into that college. I'm a testament to that walking example. I decided that the business school was not going to be the best fit, so I transferred to the College of Liberal Arts. That's something that our advisors are really well equipped to do throughout your college experience to guide you in, applying for an internal college transfer at any point. So you are, pursuing the path that makes the most sense for you. Great. All right, any additional questions? All right, looks like we do not have any last questions, but I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of myself and the University of Minnesota for tuning in tonight. I hope this was helpful in learning a little bit more, and I would absolutely love to keep in touch with any of you. And I wish you nothing but the best for the school year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Allie. So sounds like you're all wrapped up. I just have a few housekeeping items, and students, you should be able to see the slide there as well. Once again, a big thank you to Allie for presenting all of that great information. I'm originally from Iowa. Norman Borlaug attended the University of Minnesota. He's like one of the more famous Iowans, so that was a lot of great info to learn. A big thank you to all of the students who are joining us both right now live and the students that ask questions, as well as those of you viewing this via the video recording. So when you close the window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide for the Find Your Future programming, whether that be about this specific session or any other sessions you've attended. This session was just one that is being hosted. So be sure to sign up and check out any additional sessions for other colleges or institutions that you may be interested in at moacac.org. And in about a week, this video recording will go live on the moacac.org website. So if you want to refer back, you're more than welcome to check that out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Allie, and have a great night.